By now, most of you guys have seen this chart, right? Where I have shown numerous times how this level has held perfectly, and once price breaks above this arc, then it should fly at least to the 2.272 Fibonacci extension from that 2013 high, right? But today I want to just show something a little bit different and just get a different perspective to see what XRP is likely to do in the near future. And I have this chart pulled up here, and this is the log scale chart as well. And I wanted to show the similarities that we have seen in the past. And I believe what we're seeing now is just a repeat of a cycle that we have seen before. It's only extended, right? So this is very similar from this one down to the very end here to current price is very similar to what we saw right here back in 2013. I believe this top and this top, the ones are the same. And then I believe the twos are also the same. And then it was just flat for years before price took off. And now currently we are flat for years and just waiting for price to take off. So let's go look a little bit deeper and see some similarities. So the first similarity we can probably see is maybe this period where XRP began back in 2013 right here is probably similar to maybe this time right here, right? We can see that it just continued up a little bit, consolidated a little bit, and then continued higher. Just like right here, it went up a little bit, consolidated a little bit, and then went up higher, right? So that was the peak back in 2013, which was also the peak right here back in 2018, right? And then there was a long bear market, right down and made a low right here, a long bear market, but not as long as this, right? So this is just extended, right? And then it made a low right here, which was near that previous breakout, right? This low was near that previous breakout right here. See, some similarities right there, just a lot more extended. And then price recovered from there and then went up to the 2, and then it went up to the 2, right? Very similar. And then there was another bear market where we came back down and then found a bottom, and then it made higher lows ever since, right? It came back down, found a bottom, made higher lows ever since, except for during this time, right? We can see that it did wick down there, but that's just a liquidity wick, so we won't really count that. But even this candle right here, like these candles close below these levels, right? And this candle right here closed below these levels here. Very similar, right? So it's looking like it found its base and then just exploded higher. But since this period is very much extended, we don't really know how much longer it'll take to see that explosion. But we do know that it's looking like it could be near, since we already had this lower low from these candles here, right? We had the lower low from these candles here, right? So that means that it's getting pretty close in my eyes that price could be exploding higher sooner than we think. But let's just see how much time has passed. So from that period to the explosion higher, it started right there, right? That was about 1,323 days, right? And we can see that this cycle, I said maybe started right here, right? Because these are similar. So if we just take that right here, that's basically the 1,300 days, right? So if we extend that out all the way, how long has it taken so far? It's taken 2,640 days basically from this period that we said is similar to this period, right? So it's basically double the length of time so far, right? So 1,300 days and then 2,600 days, right? That's basically double. So since it's basically double the amount of time from cycle to cycle, that could be very close to a time where it's about to explode higher. So that is, I think we're approaching that time, right? And if we go back to that chart that I showed you in the beginning, so if we go back to this chart, we can probably see and take a look at here and look that it's running out of time, right? It is found support already at that 1.618, found it many times in the past, right? That last wick below was that lower low from these candles that I was talking about before. And essentially, it's just waiting to break above this arc. And it looks like it could happen soon. And the reason why I say that is because these moving averages right here, these moving averages, it's holding kind of as support right now. This 200-week moving average sits around 60 cents, right? 60 cents right there is the moving average. And what is price currently at now? It's at that almost exactly, right? So it's kind of trying to fight it as a resistance and a support at the same time. But I think once it can break that and clear that, then it's a possibility for price to finally break above, maybe do a bullish engulfing candle, get on the top side of this arc, and then possibly flip it to support to continue to that 2.272 extension around $3, and then possibly beyond to the 2.618, $9, and maybe even higher, right? So I think that time is approaching fast because we've already been double the amount of time as the 2013 cycle. So I think things are looking pretty good for a breakout sooner than later because of the way all these charts are looking right now. And now I have XRP on the linear scale, and I want to show even more confluence here of what's happening. So we're back at this orange angle, right? And I highlighted it because it's back above it. So let me just zoom in a little bit right here. And I can show you that it already flipped that angle back to support. It found the support right here of that gray angle, right? It was very important in the past. This orange angle was even more important in the past. And now it looks like it flipped it to support. Even last week, it wicked down to touch that angle again. So this time, is it possible for this weekly candle to go back down to the 58s and touch that angle again? Yeah, that is possible, right? But I believe if it holds, then it's just more confirmation to go higher and higher to this blue angle and above. And let me just go back in time here to show you that period of time, right? So that period of time was right here, right here. So the angles even match exactly the same, right? So price broke up to this blue angle, right? Price broke up to this blue angle right here. And we look in the past, and then it went back down to the gray angle, right? And then after that, it went back down to the gray angle, right? And then after that, it went back above to the orange angle, and it was battling it as support and resistance, kind of like what it's doing right now, what it has been doing in the past, right? Battling that orange angle, and then it just exploded higher through everything, right? So this is something similar that we're seeing, right? It's just taking more time, like back up to the blue, back to the gray, up to the blue, back to the gray, right? Just taking more time before we see this explosion. So this period of time looks kind of similar to this period of time here, right? Right here, it's just a little bit similar. So more confluence, in my opinion, that things look ready and ready, like more ready to break higher and higher. It just needs to get above those resistance levels. And once it does, then I can see an explosion higher and higher. And the last thing I want to show you is the XRP Bitcoin price chart. And this is really bullish now because we can see that it exploded from the top of the cloud and came up and almost back tested the baseline. And now it's a little bit stuck under the conversion line here for some consolidation in order to break higher and higher. But if we look in the past on the daily chart here, that we can see the last time it really was above the cloud. Right here doesn't really count back in 2023 because it was just a fake out. But in an uptrend, because look at the cloud is going upwards now. Like here down, it was in a downtrend, right? So the last time the cloud was in an uptrend where it had that same kind of structure was really when it broke free in the cloud up here in 2023 in July, right? It wasn't really here. It was more like here, right? So it's a good development that we're seeing that price is trending higher and higher on the daily chart. But if we go to the weekly chart here, you can see that it finally broke above the conversion line, but it's getting rejected by the baseline. So it's looking like it's going to need a little bit more time to consolidate within these right here and make sure the baseline and conversion line get closer and closer together before an explosion happens, right? And then after that, there would be some resistance up above with the cloud. But once price gets back into the cloud, then there's a possibility to go higher and higher. So this outperformance of XRP to Bitcoin is still happening, even though it is reaching some resistance right above. But everything is looking pretty good, but it's just looking like it needs a little bit more time before price breaks out. So when you add up all of these confluences together, it just really looks like things are almost ready to explode higher. It just needs to break some resistance. And once it does, look out, because things will surprise a lot of people when the price moves.